Welcome to another PocketCFI video from our series Secrets in Aviation Theory. Today we will discuss stability and how to correlate it to your flight training. For many students, stability really is a strange subject with a lot of new terminology. Oscillations, static versus dynamic, positive, neutral, negative. The problem is that most ground schools focus on the terminology and what it means, but do not correlate the meaning of the words and concepts to what actually happens inside the airplane when you fly. And that's what we will explain today. Static stability simply refers to the first reaction an airplane will show you after you changed something, like add power, reduce power, push the nose down, or pull the nose up. To any change you give the airplane, you can see three reactions. One, it accepts the change and simply continues, which would be neutral static, such as this. A change occurs, and the airplane simply continues after you've given it a change. In this case, we pull the power and the plane just keeps going. The second possibility is that the airplane is going to try and go back to where it came from. We came from level flight, we pulled the power, and at some point the airplane is actually going to go back towards where it came from. Positive static stability. And the third is that after the change occurred, the reaction of the airplane gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And that would be negative static stability. Dynamic stability refers to the exact same concept, but instead of it being the first reaction of the airplane, it is the reaction the airplane will show you over time. So let's say 1 minute. If I pull the power out of the airplane and I sit on my hands and I touch absolutely nothing, what will the airplane tend to do for the next minute? That is the question of dynamic stability. The movements it goes through over time are simply called oscillations. Now, if the oscillations get larger over time, as you can see here in red, it experiences negative dynamic stability. If the oscillations remain the exact same, it experiences neutral dynamic stability. And if the oscillations get smaller and the plane tends to go back to where it came from over time, it is called positive dynamic stability. Note that in order to have any type of dynamic stability, oscillations, you must have positive static stability. Now, this is what most ground schools focus on, and it is important to understand the concept of stability. But where most fall short is that it's the most important thing for you to understand what the airplane will actually do in flight and correlate that to this knowledge. The concept of stability is a critical part of aerodynamics, but not that you can recite the terminology, but you can feel its effects in the airplane, anticipate it, and also understand it and use it to your advantage when you fly. Now, this leads us to a PocketCFI secret. You as the pilot do not have the ability to fly. I know this sounds a little bit strange, but it's true. It is the airplane that does the flying, not the pilot. All we can do as pilots is to tell the airplane where to fly to, but that is it. The airplane does the flying. This is very important to remember. Now, this has to be taught right away, or we as pilots will develop a tendency to over-control the airplane, which is a big problem. We tend to over-control the airplane because we feel like we need to be in charge. We need to be in control. We feel this way because we think that if we don't hold the controls tightly in our hands, the airplane is going to fall out of the sky. It is going to get out of control, that it's unsafe. But that is not true. The airplane will fly without us doing anything at all. For example, we can see that an increase in thrust is followed by a corresponding increase in lift. Same as a reduction in thrust from our earlier example, the nose will come down. But all that will happen is the plane will start going into oscillations. Now, any training airplane is designed to be positively dynamically stable, meaning the plane will oscillate and it will just continue to do so, even if we do not touch it. The plane is not going to fall out of the sky. For example, fly the airplane in cruise and pull the power back from 75 to 50%. Let the nose come down and simply observe that the airplane is just going to go through these oscillations, but that it flies perfectly fine. Now realize and understand that the airplane is flying perfectly fine without your control input. That is because the airplane does the flying, not us. We only tell it where it needs to go. It is undoubtedly one of the most important things to spend 30-45 minutes in one of your very first lessons going through this exercise. Pull the power out, let the plane fly. Watch the oscillations. Add power, let the plane climb. Watch the oscillations. And what you're going to realize is that the airplane will not get out of control. It's that the airplane will fly for quite a while before, if at all, anything happens that you would consider out of the normal range of the airplane's movements. But the most important thing is you do not need to hold the airplane with two hands. You do not need to hold the airplane with one hand. All that is required for you to do is watch the airplane fly and touch it with one or two fingers very gently and move it back to where it needs to go, where you want it to go. And that is the secret of teaching stability. You can download all books and references used in our videos from our website and from our app. Our membership materials are free. Sign up, and from the Access portal, find Aviation Training Materials. Click the link to get a list of all of our available books and references. Find the book you're looking for, click the book, and download it to your computer or phone as a PDF. Thank you.